All right. As we continue on here with our topics included for episode 9 of the Sorry is True podcast, um, if you up to speed so far with these drops and these clips that's been going up on the channel, prior we did the TI topic. But like I said, I have a whole series that I'm going to go on right now, mini series, whatever. It's going to be basically just 6 parts. 6 different videos. Stop snitching. This is going to be part 1. Before we get into all these different examples of snitching, we need to at least get on the same page of what snitching is. If you saw my TI blog, you see me say things like black and white, no gray area. What happens when there's gray area when you start to determine what a snitch is? When you have gray area, you create all these variables and all these different circumstances, right? You get to say it is or it isn't snitching based on this little element or this particular situation or this little deviation that happened, or he did this or she did that, or like 6ix9ine, for example. It's not really snitching because they slept with his baby moms and they was turning on him anyway, and they tried to kidnap him and they was going to try to hurt him or kill him possibly. So you can't snitch on somebody that's really against you. You create these variables based on the situations, and then you introduce all this gray. You can't do that. If you're a street person and you live by street rules, there is no gray. There is no variables. There is no changing it based on certain details. Black and white. What is snitching? Snitching involves 1, illegal or criminal activity. 2, the person that you're questioning, are they a snitch or are they not a snitch? They have to either be in trouble or possibly in trouble. Okay, that means like by the law or somebody questioning them. For example, very straightforward, pretty simplistic. Me and my man's is robbing a bank, right? They catch me, they don't catch him. They got me down, they throw me in the box. Detectives come in, they start to throw all these questions at me, and one way or another, I implicate my partner, right? Even if it's on accident, I implicate my partner. I'm snitching. I don't have any business saying anything to authorities during criminal investigation of any part, whether I'm on stand, whether I'm in the box, whether I'm handcuffed in the back of the car on my way to the precinct, whether I'm in front of the judge, at any point. If you implicate somebody else during this criminal activity that I possibly played a part in or that I have knowledge on, and if I am a street person and abide by street code, it is snitching. Okay. I cannot try to avoid to diminish my consequences, or if I'm in trouble, try to evade or get out of trouble. Even if I think I'm just being slick, it's snitching. Now, some people may change how harsh of a snitch they look at you as. For example, Sammy the Bull, okay, a legendary, well-known snitch. Okay, no disrespect to anybody, but that's what his legacy is always going to be tied to. This man was involved in a criminal organization, the mafia. He murdered people, he extorted people, he assaulted people, he broke the law in a million different ways. And when he was caught, for whatever reasons he was caught, or for whatever reasons he told or said John Gotti, or whatever the case may be, even if he feels like John Gotti was talking on tapes or was about to tell on him or was going to try to kill him, or whatever the case may be, when they offered him an opportunity to give up information and implicate other people, including John, he did so. Right? Even if you give information and that person doesn't end up going to jail for it, even if you give information that person doesn't end up standing on trial for it, even if you give information and they never even use you or your information or your details, or they don't put you on the stand as a witness, you don't have to take the stand to be a snitch, right? The moment you give that information, you are a snitch. Okay. So the Sammy the Bull example to me makes it very, very clear cut for people. All right. He's involved in criminal activity. He told on people given the opportunity when he was in trouble or possibly in trouble with the law. All right. Now, you could change how you look at a snitch if you choose to by saying like he's a snitch, black and white. But I don't wish him death based on what he did. Right. Because you do have possible accidental snitching, right? You have indirect snitching. An example of the indirect snitching could be like you and I both get grabbed, right? Let's say there's one gun in the car, right? And I say, I know for a fact it's not my gun. Some people would say that that's snitching because you're saying if there's two people in the car and it's not your gun, then you're saying it's the other person's. Some people would say like, no, I didn't clearly say it's the other person's. I just said it's not mine. You decide to play that how you play that when you're in the box, right? But that's what I mean about how people might look at you as far as the level of snitch. A snitch is a snitch, black and white, right? But you have indirect snitching, accidental snitching sometimes too. Somebody like Dark Low may argue like accidental snitching. The reason why I would say that, and no disrespect, I would even put the name in the same sentence as a snitch while making the point. And once again, I'm a fan of Dark Low. All right. I listen to his music in the gym at least 3 times a week. That's my choice of music. You know what I'm saying? The reason why people would say that is because Dark Low himself has a million lyrics saying that you get grabbed by them people. You don't say a single word. Where's my lawyer? You say nothing. You have nothing to tell those people. I don't have any conversation for y'all for none of that. That's all he says in his lyrics. So he obviously understands the street code as far as talking to the authorities. But when he was put in that position, he spoke to them. He allowed them to interview them. He didn't say, I'm flexing my right and say, you know, when you read me my Miranda, you know, do you want an attorney present? And when they ask you, you know, are you being forced to say anything outside of your own will without an attorney, et cetera, and you answer yes to the Mirandas, and then you proceed to give an interview and discuss details about whatever criminal activity or whatever you're in trouble for in the first place. And let's take one step back. Anytime you are in a precinct, a jail, you are in trouble. No cop brings you to a jail or puts you in a detective's box to be interviewed unless you are in trouble. Okay, you don't have to be. If you're not under arrest, you wouldn't have to be there. It would be in your rights to not have to be there then, right? You're under arrest. You're there. You're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're proven innocent, whether your lawyer comes to get you out, whether you make bond, whatever the case may be, you're still in trouble at that moment. Or else you don't get taken to the fucking jail in the first place and put in that interview room. And if you were already moved into prison, and then later on during the case, they decide to bring you into an interview and detectives start to question you based on evidence and information that has come in, and then you still proceed to give feedback, yeses and nos, they're going to deem that snitching. So that's why people say that about Dark Low. You know what I'm saying? And you could argue on Dark Low's side and say at least he wasn't intentionally snitching. Like, let's say, for example, if they say, well, yeah, you know, such and such was selling drugs, and he was like, you know, I don't, maybe, you know, we did that together, and maybe he thinks that he's speaking on his own situations that happen to involve somebody else, and that's not snitching because I'm telling you what you guys already know, and it involves me. But it still can implicate others. It could be corroborated information against somebody else at trial. So street guy to street guy, anybody that lives that lifestyle and lives by those codes is going to say that's snitching because you spoke, period. When whether you purposefully or on accident, you got somebody else possibly jammed up, or you said shit that can get somebody else jammed up. So street people are going to say that that's snitching, period. All right. So I've given you the examples of like how it could be indirect snitching, accidental snitching, or just straightforward Sammy the Bull snitching, right? That's what a snitch is. That's what a snitch is. If there's any other definition of what y'all have as a snitch, hopefully in parts 2 through 5, we get more aligned on our perspective of what a snitch is. And let me tell y'all right here, man. One of the reasons why this annoys me, and I guess the TI topic kind of said, you know what, this is a moment for me not even to speak on this, not just to speak on the TI shit, but also get off my chest all my snitching perspective and opinions, period. Because I've been carrying it for years, and I've had these conversations in my private life with people, but it just annoys me how popular and of a fad the term or the word snitch is. It's not used in the street more than it's just used as a fad or just in regular lingo. Now, when they say people can be killed for using that word or for calling somebody a snitch, if you put that on somebody and you don't have the paperwork or whatever, they say people can get killed for that. That's street culture. I'm not a street nigga, so I don't do all of that. I'm not involved in none of that type of shit. But people in the street react like that, they say, right? Is that possibly what happened in Nipsey Hussle's shooting? Maybe, right? Maybe not. But that's what street people say. They take it as an extreme offense if you call them a snitch without proof or paperwork. If it is going to be used within certain circles, i.e., street niggas, to be used as that extreme of a term or a label or a tag to put on something, you would wonder why it's used so loosely. It's played with so much. And I understand we're in the social media era. Anybody could get on Twitter and a YouTube comment, whatever, and say whatever. Suck my dick. You a snitch. You a bitch. You this and that. I understand how people could be so loose with words that could be taken with extreme action, right? But I swear to God, it's one of my pet peeves, because we got all these people that never exercise no type of fucking street function, no action. They were never active. They were never part of no gang. They never did shit. They never broke the law. They never sold no drugs. They never lifted up an illegal gun. Nothing. They never did nothing to break the law. And they be the first ones on the internet and social media talk about, oh, that's snitching. Oh, you a snitch. You're not even in the street. We don't even know how you would react if you was put in that situation. You don't know how people will react if they're sat down in front of them detectives until it happens. What they would really say, what they would really do. Boy, I tell you, I don't want to get to some of these stories, but let me keep this about what I see, not as much about as what I know. Let's to say it like that. What I see is the overuse and the popularization of words like snitch, where it makes me sick. Stop snitching. Remember, it was a movement. Everybody had the fucking stop sign t-shirt to stop snitching. None of these people is even in the street. None of these people can even claim to be retired street people. They can't even say, I'm a citizen now and I used to be in the street. They can't even say that. And stop snitching, stop snitching, stop snitching. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach, man. It makes me sick. I seen that for a comment on my channel the other day. I seen somebody. I did a video about Albial, right? And if you watch the video, it's actually a positive video. I'm happy to see that Albial has the attitude of staying away from the BS and his old hood and his old block based on, you know, his past. And how would I know anything about his past? Now, I would say this. If we're going to call Albial a real nigga, if we're going to call him honest, if we're going to call him truthful, right? And I believe Albial. I believe his image. I believe his past. I mean, he wasn't locked up for 2 attempted murders for nothing. I'm not trying to say that he did them. That means that you're involved or around stuff, right? Let's say you're innocent as far as the charges that you had, but you're around stuff. Right. And I haven't seen a lot of people come out and say, like, we don't know who the fuck this nigga is claiming marrying and all this shit. He's lying his ass off. So I believe Albial. I believe he's a street nigga or comes from that. So to see him say, I'm not going back to that, I was proud to see that as a fan of his music. I was proud to see that. OK, but I was talking about some of his lyrics in one of his songs called Lucifer from the Cobra mixtape. And in there, how he was talking about pull up on one and smoke a op. We up like 3 and ain't nothing drop and all that type of shit. These are his lyrics. And I was talking about his lyrics from his mixtape that you could go on natpiff.com and fucking download. And some little teenage minded motherfucker, probably maybe even younger than that, jumped in the comments and said, this gives me snitch vibes. I guess because I was talking about Albial's lyrics from his mixtape. And once again, like, what if I was a street nigga that really took that term that extreme? And I don't let words hurt me the way that some of y'all do. There's a lot of things that you could say certain shit to me. It's not going to get me excited. If you said it in my face and I felt the way, I'll react accordingly. If I felt threatened, I'll react accordingly. But nobody's going to tweet me or send me a comment on fucking social media and it's going to get me off my rocker and ruin my fucking day. I don't put words in power like that. But if I did, you just violated. If I was that type of person, you violated at an extreme level that I can justify in the street if I was a street person for killing you. because you called me or you insinuated that I was a snitch by talking about somebody's lyrics. This is what I mean about people using the word too much. Using the word too much. I just be hating shit that turns into a fad. Respectfully is a fad to me. I said it once or twice, my damn self, to be honest. But once y'all start saying respectfully in the midst of saying disrespectful shit, you water it down too much. I just be like, man, I just hate the way people talk. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's one of those shit like this is why I'm me. I'm a rare breed. I am who I am. Shit like that annoys me. And snitch is the same thing. Y'all use the word, y'all throw it around, y'all violate people, and not only have none of y'all, most of y'all haven't been through shit that use the word or the classification. Y'all don't even have the definition correct half the fucking time. Because if you're willing to call somebody a snitch that's speaking on public lyrics, need I explain further? Drop a comment if any of y'all have a different definition of what a snitch is. I'll see y'all in part 2.